Imagine having the chance to know in advance the possible behavior of your users, customers, employees, or partners, and to be able to anticipate the right action to close a sale deal, for example, to increase the success of your marketing, to provide the best customer service to your customer, or to identify the best candidate for your job openings. You may ask yourself why we are opening this webinar with Albert Einstein profile. We are giving you an example of how our technology works by testing it on a genius mind. But please note that you can profile any user just by using a brief text, and we will see later on in this webinar. Let's start then by analyzing an excerpt of Albert Einstein's letter to Roosevelt to retrieve a list of Einstein's main psychometric traits. We are copy-pasting a short text in the text box of our sandbox here to let Portrait analyze it, and here we have on the right, lighted in green, the main personality attitudes of Einstein. We can see that he liked logical but also upbeat communication, meaning that he liked an engaging style of communication, he definitely was open to innovation, and he was a decision maker. Now, imagine to get similar results for any content you may get from your users, to know in advance sides of their personality to anticipate their behavior, and to let you adapt your communication and next best actions accordingly. I just hope that Einstein won't be upset about having profiled him without his consent. And if you want to know how this can happen, you are at the right place today. I'm Eleonora, Communication Manager in Athics, and here with me I have David Kricka, Business Process Analyst in Athics. Welcome, David. Today, we will show you the potential of psychometric profiling by answering a list of frequent asked questions about Portrait, our profiling solution. Let's start with the first question. What is it for? Psychometric profiling is a technology that allows us to detect aspects of personality, such as cognitive abilities or behavioral characteristics of an individual. Traditional profiling techniques are based on psychometric profiling tools and evaluation systems, such as Ocean or Big Five, just to name a few. And these tools are used in psychology to profile different dimensions of personality and cognitive abilities. By applying artificial intelligence to psychometric profiling, we have today the opportunity to preview the possible behavior of our interlocutor through the identification of his or her main character traits. This means in terms of attitudes, interests, values, and thus he let us anticipate the proper messages and actions. What is Portrait? Portrait is a software of predicting profiling based on supervised machine learning, and this was our second question. The technology is the result of 12 years of research from MIT in Boston that combine the results of traditional profiling with supervised machine learning. This let create a technology that is able to detect over 80 psychometric traits by analyzing the way we build up sentences when we speak. By using function words analysis, Portrait allows us to retrieve the user's main personality traits, such as, for example, purchasing behavior, social attitudes, and professional performance. Question number 3, how does it work? And I let this one to David.
Thank you, Eleonora. Well, Portraits is able to retrieve the psychometric profile of persons, so for example, like customer or employees, analyzing the frequency of function words within text of at least 300 characters. Let's see an example. What you're seeing now is the Portrait platform environment, and I'm going to use the example of a customer care field. My goal now is to identify the behavior of the client and match his or her expectation in terms of how I have to communicate to solve the problem. I send the text to Portrait to analyze and let's see what kind of behavior emerged within my client propensities. Thanks to this analysis, I can understand the propensity of who I'm talking to. Knowing that, I can choose which communication style could be useful for me to prepare the best action to act. For example, to avoid the client abandoning the service or to encourage upselling.
Well, and what type of text is needed for profiling? This is our fourth question. As David mentioned before, we need about 300 written text characters to profile a subject. And we can take our input text from messages, emails, documents, but also retrieving personal data within the CRM. Portrait will analyze the frequency of use of our function words, such as adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, so terms that give structure to our sentences and reveal the way we express ourselves. Also, because Portrait does not make any assessment on the content of the communication. And this means that the result of profiling is absolutely bias free. Next question: what are psychometric traits? Psychometric traits are stable characteristics that express personality and human behavior, which can be measured by using psychometric tools such as questionnaires, tests, or interviews. These traits are used by psychologists to understand and evaluate different aspects of personality, such as extroversion, open mindedness, sensitivity towards a more emotional instead of logical or institutional style of communication. And this leads to our next question: what traits does Portrait detect? David.
Well, the traits the portraits can detect are those relating to personality of the person that I have analyzed, and can be related to behaviors such as, in this case, we can find the decision-making behavior, the adventurous nature, and these are, and the green dot, for example, means that this trait is relevant in the person, and the red one is that this is not relevant in this analysis.
Can I test myself?
Oh, sure. Uh,
Uh, if you want, I can share with you
yes.
the link to my last post on LinkedIn.
Oh, perfect. So I'm going.
You should.
This is okay. I
Got
got
it
it.
now.
Okay. This is okay. Let me take your test here. This is what you got down in this post. I can send it to Portrait, and let's see what is your psychometric profile. So you are a person that likes logical communication. You are a decision-making woman, and you are open to innovation. Well, and you are a churn propensity. You are a churn propensity, so you can leave or abandon the services very very fast and without mentioning it.
Well, that's interesting, and I definitely can confirm that I'm a high spending profile. But so you just use my LinkedIn post for for profiling, and that introduces us to the next question: what is a correlation matrix?
Well, correlation matrix contains the individual psychometric traits that are related to the behavior and attitudes that we want to detect. If you want to know if a person is a risk of churn, for example, you can create a specific correlation matrix and identify the relevant traits to identify a specific behavior. Basically, within a matrix, I give a value to the traits that are more relevant in a certain behavior in order to find out about them in future profiling. Here we have a simplified version, obviously, of a correlation matrix that I have prepared to help better understand what is it for. In our example, if a profiled subject has these characteristics, it means it is very likely that you, because of your profile, are at churn risk.
Okay. Next question is where we can apply portrait. Psychometric profiling can be applied in different contexts and business fields, such, for example, customer care, marketing, sales, or HR recruiting process. The results of psychometric profiling can provide valuable information to understand users' preferences, possible behavior, individual skills, and potential. The profiling result can be used to target a customer segment of a marketing campaign, for example, to better understand customer needs and expectation, to identify sales opportunities, up to recruiting and assessment of employees in the human resources field. Let's see what happens in customer care. Portraiting customer care may help you reduce the churn rate, helping to identify customers who are likely to switch suppliers and abandon your services, so to let us take the most appropriate action to retain them. In marketing, we can identify the next best actions and increase conversion. Adapt your communication style of each campaign to the preferences of your audience. In sales, we can increase opportunities of upselling or cross-selling, analyze the profile of our prospects, and propose the most appropriate offer based on the characteristics of each customer. And finally, in the human resources field, we can detect the soft skills of candidates and employees, identify the profile that are most in line with open positions, map the soft skills present in our company. So it's definitely a tool supporting the HR management. Next question is, can I do profiling through the voice channel?
Of course, Eleonora, it is possible to transform voice into text through text-to-speech tools. After that, we can send the textual content to Portrait to be used to elaborate psychometric profiling.
Okay, really nice. And how can I use profiling results?
Perfect. We can use the large language model to obtain specific goals and better understand profiling results. For example, you may want to know which upselling proposal may be better for my customer. In this case, I'm using you again, and I can try it for you.
Okay.
Here I can analyze using the LLM and have a tip from this tool. And the answer is that is based on your psychometric profile. It would be better to propose a greater internet bandwidth to you, and then because you have a positive traits related to creativity, openness, and self-direction, which align with the benefit of increasing internet speed. So you can navigate through the internet very, very fast.
Okay, that's really interesting. Next question is, what is the business model? So Portrait is based on a token purchasing model, and each token entitles to one profiling. And you can have an overview of different token packages by checking the pricing page on our website, Portrait Profiling. And this includes a starter pack of 30 free credits that are entitled to 30 free profilings. So feel free to check and choose the most suitable package to your needs. Question number 12, how do we use profiling data? So when we receive a text for profiling, we analyze the grammar of the text and not the content. So our system does not save any content, not even the outcome of the profiling. Anyway, in compliance with GDPR regulation, people must always be informed that their content might be subject of profiling activity. So you must obtain their consent to proceed. And this was our last question that we collected through our chatbot. So we open now to a live Q&A. So feel free to ask your question and we'll be happy to answer. So let's see if we have our first question. Is it possible to integrate this technology in our CRM? David, do you want to get this?
Yes, our solution can be definitely integrated into third-party systems such as CRMs and via API. So you can create your API tokens and use them to integrate your systems to with Portrait. So this is how the solution communicate with your systems.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if we have some other question from our audience. Or maybe one of you may want to type a brief text of 300 characters. Okay. So we will wait just a couple of minutes to see if any other question may come from the LinkedIn page. Okay. So no question from our audience. Okay. So feel free to type your question on the comment on the LinkedIn page, and we'll be happy to answer by message later on. So I remind you that Portrait is a solution from Athics, a cognitive science company based in Milan. We are specialized in conversational AI and psychometric profiling. So you can follow this page on LinkedIn to stay updated on our solution and next webinar. Thanks for your attention for now. I hope you enjoyed the session, and see you soon in our next webinars.